the weekend, huh?
Yeah, I think it really mattered for OG's confidence. Obviously, he's a young guy. He's only 19 years old. And in his home nation of Korea, had a lot of troubles with the fans. Wasn't a very popular player to the degree, he was actually suspended for some of his actions at the start of his Overwatch League career. And on the Korean broadcast, they wouldn't even say his ID in the first matches of the Overwatch League. And I think this is just a wonderful story for him because out of all this negative attention, here he comes into Dallas and there's thousands and thousands of fans chanting his name in the arena. Yep. And you understand why he got so emotional. He wants to put his past behind him and really focus on his play here in the Overwatch League. And I think it was a very special moment for him to be in that crowd in Dallas.
Absolutely agree. Going from the people not being willing to say your name to thousands chanting it in front of you.
It's pretty
what a
sick.
Story, huh?
It's pretty sick.
Let's check out our map set brought to you by Toyota. Going to start things off on Busan. That's going to be our control map. Then going to Temple of Anubis. Kings Row will be hybrid. And finally Rialto for Escort if we need it, of course. That fifth final control map. I feel like I've said that a lot this stage. But you and I, we haven't really gotten a lot of game fives. We've gotten a couple, but
just a couple.
Not as many as some other duos have been blessed with this stage, I think. But we'll see where this one goes. Obviously, Dallas coming in as the heavy favorites, but Florida Mayhem showing, little sparks of life here and there. Perhaps they can turn that spark into a raging bonfire today. Probably not, but maybe, right?
Spark's not playing today, though, but that's fine.
No Spark. We have too many like energy, excitement names.
I agree.
I
agree. They really should have capped those.
They're taking all of our words away, Monty. What else? What are we supposed to say on the cast from now on?
The next expansion team's going to be the energy, no doubt.
I know, right? Yeah, that's right. We're just going to call them something like, Kill or something like that. Here we go, getting things started here on Busan. The team's facing off, OG and Swan staring each other down. OG moving forward, though. See how aggressive Dallas wants to be with this one. That was a nice fire strike on the Saya player, though.
Yeah, you can see right here, Zachary looked like he may have been going for the Sombra at the start, but instead we are going to come out of the gate here with mirror compositions, and Saya player actually gets the first pick on the AKM. That is massive.
That's a great start for Florida as they walk forward with the advantage here. OG, low health, he's going to go down as well, and Florida Mayhem. We talked about that spark growing into a roaring flame. Well, I would say it's like, pleasant fireplace at this point. It's more than a spark, but at least they got the control percent going.
Yeah, and they did play a very patient game, waiting for positional error. Catching up to Zarya first is absolutely huge. Does deprive the team of a lot of that damage output that you get with that hero. Now Dallas Fuel have to retake. Florida Mayhem, they are 1-3 on Busan this map. So far in the Overwatch League this year, Dallas Fuel is they're up there 3-1, so pretty unexpected first result at least.
OG goes for the shatter, doesn't get a whole lot. Hogopin there with the Transcendence on the Florida side. Now the grab comes in from BQB as well. Florida trying to eliminate the Fuel. There comes the charge. Oh, double kill from Zephyr, self-destruct, and then a nice shatter to follow it up. That's going to seal the deal. Probably didn't need to drop the shatter, but it's certainly made for a clean ending to that fight.
Yeah, they are just going to stagger the Diva as well. Note not having a lot of options, so some free control percent now as they have to wait for Note to respawn.
Yeah.
Crucially, though, they did bait out Hogopin's Transcendence. That means that AKM, considering he's closer to that Graviton Surge, if he gets it, Florida Mayhem may have some trouble defending against that damage, but Dallas feel pretty far behind on the ult economy game right now.
Yeah, even if Florida Mayhem does give over the point now, they're going to have a lot of kind of leisure as far as how they can build up some ultimates and come back in again.
Yeah, Hogopin also is now matching that ult charge, so that window is closing.
Yep. AKM getting close to that Graviton Surge, but they're going to have to try to get some of the Florida support ultimates out before they really kind of get going with this. It's going to be the rally from Saya player. Off the bat, that's a lot of damage here. The grab comes in. Gonna get another Transcendence up from Hogopin.
Nice shatter!
The shatter helps Note pick up the double kill. And that's that tank synergy that we're really seeing from Dallas right now. Note and OG have been working so well together on this team.
Wow, that shatter was absolutely huge because it prevented Chris from getting that sound barrier down. However, now we do see things switching back. Couple of kills, but at the end of that fight, it's all Florida Mayhem on that point. They've got all 6 members to flip it back.
I mean, it was looking good for Dallas, but Florida managed to just kind of stick on it and grind it out in the end. And so only 25% built up by Dallas in that scuffle.
Now they're going to have to come back and try and taxi the Zenyatta here. Unko coming back with closer, but really nothing to work with. Meanwhile, Sound Barrier, Florida can just rush them with this Sound Barrier.
Pretty much. I mean, they've got the ult advantage right now, but they've got a fairly small window as Dallas should be having, maybe the grab coming up fairly soon. Zachary's going to have his rally. Florida not giving a chance, so they're going in with the Sound Barrier. There's a nice shatter, too, and that's an easy cleanup for Florida. Like you mentioned, Monty, they have the ult advantage. They could just kind of walk in and do it.
Yeah, and what they were waiting for was BQB's Graviton Surge, and then they cover their approach, and the fact that they can just swing away freely with the Reinhardt because they have that Sound Barrier. Very clean play from the Florida Mayhem.
Yeah, they look great. And, if we think back to the last match we saw them in, too, I think that's the one where we were saying this is the best we've seen Florida yet in Stage 2. And if that's any indication from what we just saw on this last map, I'd say today might be even a little bit better.
Yeah. They have been better on control, to be fair to the Florida Mayhem.
True enough.
Just not on Busan in particular. But taking a look at this, I mean, it's a great start. Only 3 of their players were eliminated, or 4 of their players were eliminated in that, 20-4 in terms of elimination. So very one-sided.
You ever wonder why they have that wall that goes up and down in the mech base? It seems like if you're flying your mech back into the base, that's not the time you want a wall randomly coming up from the ground.
Yeah. It does seem very odd.
I think they kind of need to do a little bit of redesigning. The only one left. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, they don't.
That is true. Okay, touche. Mech safety is clearly not a concern for Mecha. Dallas Fuel, no concern for them as they're able to win this first fight in style here. Unko hopping off, taking out Zephyr, and should be Dallas getting the control percent going quick.
Yeah, Unko managed to get the early pickoffs right now, already 50% of the way to his trans. Hogman gets some more damage laid down, though.
That's great, because he's getting really close to his transcendence as well, and that's something Florida might need when they want to retake.
Yeah, they're coming back right now, trying to make it through this choke point.
All right, here we go. Florida getting aggressive. Zachary does have the rally to use in that Brigida, giving his team that extra armor as they try to fend off Florida. Florida, though, already dropped down from the high ground. As you can hear, the walls are about to come up again, so that's a little bit more line of sight that Dallas has to kind of protect themselves on the point, for a short while anyway. OG just looking for that fat shatter.
You can see the setup there. The shatter comes through, not going to get anybody.
Yeah, BQB has his shield. Was able to avoid that with his Zarya shield. OG walking forward now, and Swan, the first to go down, actually. Note, finishes him off.
And it's going to walk up. Florida not going to give them any more ult charge. Gets out of there very quickly. Good shot calling from Florida to beat a hasty retreat.
Yeah.
Dallas Fuel almost halfway through the necessary percent on this point. Florida Mayhem have some tools, though. They do have the first Graviton coming through.
Yeah, AKM is so close to his as well, though. So by the time the fight begins, it'll probably be pretty even as far as that goes. If they can kill AKM before he gets his grab, that'd be huge. See if they can do it.
See if they're waiting for the rally. Could be the trigger here for the Florida Mayhem. They can play aggressively.
AKM does have his ultimate on that Zarya right now. And he's going to use it. Grab pulls a couple members of Florida in. Was it really the grab they wanted, though? I don't know. Swan getting the Transcendence healing from Hagopin now. Delch just waits this one out. There's a rally now coming in from side player as Florida tries to take control of the point. They've muscled Dallas off of it anyway, and now they can use a grab. Can they kill OG? Oh, he's going to counter shatter onto Swan. Self-destruct block, though. But note, that one goes through. 3K from the Diva ult on the Dallas side.
And Florida just is not striking quickly enough. They had a pretty substantial ultimate advantage, but every time a team plays passively, tries to poke out for just a little bit more ult percentage, the team is going to, on the other side, is just going to get those ults right back up and match you, and that's what happens for Dallas.
Yeah, you got to be really tight about your knowledge of the team's ultimates on the other side, right? Because there are really, really small windows in the 3-3 meta right now that you need to exploit if you're going to take the point, and Florida just a couple seconds off there, and that means a quick 100-0 round for the Dallas Fuel. So we will go to Shrine, the final round on Busan, to see who takes the map.
It was smart, though, I think, for Dallas to use that Graviton pretty aggressively in that last fight, though, because it gives them more time to build up their critical ultimates, right? You slow them down a little bit, force Florida to play defensively.
Yeah.
So both teams will be heading out here for the final point.
Oh, and Unko may be expecting a little bit of DPS on the Florida side with that Moira pick. We'll see if he switches it.
Yeah, they definitely are. They may just take a look here. A lot of teams on this point will go ahead and scout and then turn back and switch. They're definitely expecting that. Translocator comes through for AKM. Right back onto the Zarya. Wants to play the Reinhardt 3-3 mirror.
Note just destroyed a priceless wooden window. Been around for generations, and he just shoots it. Wow, this is Diva's country. What is she doing?
She has no respect for the past, though.
Apparently. Wow, kids these days. Millennials, am I right? Man. Dallas Field trying to come in on the point right now. Florida Mayhem got there first, obviously, because of the swaps Dallas needed to do. They're going to get the control percent going at least. Swan really low, though. Can they keep him alive? No, they can't. AKM taking him down. Dallas gets to 65. Oh, but Hagopan equalizing. This guy's a star of Florida right now. No doubt. Can he keep it up, though? OG taking a ton of damage. Hagopan really making Dallas think twice about their aggression here.
I mean, he's doubling Unko's ult charge right now. He already has that Transcendence, and he just goes ahead and uses it.
Gets charged, but he stays alive because of the ultimate at least. And that's Florida Mayhem pushing Dallas back. Man, Hagopan did a ton of damage in there, and they finally take out AKM. That was great from Florida.
Yeah, that was great from Hagopan. I mean, it allowed them to chunk out the members of the Dallas Fuel's front line because they were able to push forward with the Transcendence. You can see Unko still doesn't have the trance, and Hagopan's 30% of the way through his second right now.
Yeah. Well, now Dallas is going to have some options when they come back in here. Going to have ultimates, going to have the grab, should have a bunch of support ultimates. See if they can use that edge to flip the point.
I mean, BQB should play aggressively with the grab right now because they don't have a support ult to really survive through AKMs, and that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's going to do that. They need to change this into kills. Here's Zephyr with the self-destruct. Transcendence comes out from Unko as the Shatter comes down from OG. They're going to turn that into a kill on the Saya player. Now, Note did get D-Mech through all that, so they're without it, but it looks like the rest of Dallas trying to pick up the slack, but they do lose OG.
Oh, they're playing aggressively, too. Sound Barrier doesn't go on to BQB, though.
Yeah, well, Sound Barrier on enough of Florida anyway to push people back again. AKM getting close to another graph here, too. BQB roasted, and Florida Mayhem pushed back, so finally, Dallas should get some control percent.
Yeah, and they are going to flip it here, and they are going to have an ultimate advantage for quite a while. Florida Mayhem committed a lot to that fight, hoping that they were going to be able to win that fight and just go ahead and take boosts on the map as a whole right there. Doesn't happen, which means now they're going to have to play a catch-up game. Luckily, they have an entire 100% to do that, so it's all about conserving your ultimates, engineering what we call economy pushes, which are trying to force your opponents to use ults while you retain yours and make a favorable trade.
Speaking of ults, there goes the grab from AKN, trying to kill Swan. Nice charge by OG to take him out of the fight. He's going to finish him off as well. That is how you aggressively use ults.
Yep. Go ahead, push the advantage that you have right there. They did D-Mech Note, so you have to keep an eye on how fast he's going to get his Diva Mech back right now. Late elimination onto Hagopan will stagger his respawn with the rest of his team. So they have to wait for that one. Note, still not even 70% back to his mech yet. Maybe an opportunity here if they can dodge some of those shots. You can see they're hiding from the spam right now.
Yeah.
Don't want to use Swan's barrier points to do that, and do not want to give Note his mech back.
And BQB walking forward with a good amount of charge. Decent damage coming out of that Zarya right now.
Got his mech back.
About the grab, right?
Great timing.
Grab. Can they turn it into something? Self-destruct. Ooh, that was a nice one. Gets Zachary. Zephyr goes down, though. Note takes him out with his Diva ultimate. Now Florida Mayhem just trying to maintain control of the point. They haven't flipped it back just yet, but they are close.
Big shatter.
Great shatter from Swan. The charge.
Nice move.
He gets booped.
Away from Unko.
Unko lives. No, Swan gets him anyway. Florida turning this one around. At the end of the day, Note trying to do what he can. He's going to lose that mech. Florida does flip the point back into their favor, but can they win the fight here?
I mean, BQB's still alive here with a lot of energy, about 50%. So they're trying to get it back. Sound barrier up so that they can just charge in.
OG backs off a little bit. They know they've got a slight amount of time. AKM kills BQB, and now Dallas striking back again at the last possible moment. They retake the point. Wow, what a crazy fight.
Yeah, very interesting. Great focus fire onto BQB at the end. They realized there wasn't a lot of healing because it was just the Lucio there. Meanwhile, Lucio and Brigitte on the side of Dallas Fuel providing more consistent healing output. They're going to touch here for overtime. Swan's going to come in. Hagopan now on the Tracer.
Lots of swaps. Oh, but the Shatter comes in from OG once more. Try to make it out with that Sombra. BQB escapes, but not a lot of health remaining in Florida. Can't get back to it. It's going to be Dallas taking the map.
Narrow win for Dallas. They have to come back from nearly 100 to 0.
Yeah.
Florida Mayhem coming out swinging, showing some really impressive play by their standards.
They are indeed, but Dallas having the poise, getting the win, taking the lead in this series. Quick break, and when we come back, map number 2.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, guys, to the Overwatch League. Don't forget, Legendary All-Star Lucio and Mercy skins are coming up May 7th and 22nd for 200 Overwatch League tokens. There's actually not a whole lot. 200 each, you can get those 6 skins. I'm going to pick them up. I don't play much Mercy. I do play a lot of Lucio. So, yeah, that's nice to have them, right?
You know, they're both support skins, though. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's like, it's good for me, right?
It's great for you.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about this.
Support players
We had
of the
2
world.
DPS skins last year.
Rejoice.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. See, as a tank player, just saying.
Well, I mean, your tank players are like conditioned to feel sad all the time. So really, this is par for the course for you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anubis coming up. It's going to be our assault map between these two teams. As you can see, Dallas Fuel narrowly taking the win on Busan. We'll see if they can keep the streak going here on our second map in this series, Florida Mayhem. Not looking too bad in that first map, though, were they?
No, and especially for a team that I think has struggled on Busan overall, only taking 1 win and 3 losses on that map. So coming out with some fight in them, to be sure. They are one of the teams that did not join us for the Dallas homestand, so a bit of extra time to prepare for this match.
Not that we, wouldn't have wanted them there. It's not like we told them they couldn't come or something.
They're going on the next homestand.
We did kind of tell them they couldn't come, I suppose, but not because we don't like them.
They will be at the Atlanta homestand.
That's right.
Towards the end of Stage 3. Another thing that you can look forward to if you are an Overwatch League fan in the Southeast.
Sure enough, Dallas Fuel on the attack, going for the 3-3 with the Reinhardt this time. It's going to be the Winston 3-3 from the Florida Mayhem, and as they try to set up their defense.
The precaution against the DPS heavy composition, so sometimes you just have to make this decision, even though it is worse. We do see Swan coming up right there. Bubble down on him. Good timing on the Zarya bubble and his own bubble to help him maximize that charge, but he actually didn't get quite a lot. 25% to a Primal Rage at this point on an approach is not awesome. Does get up to over 40% now, though, and he's going to have another opportunity. This is really the last chance you get before they drop onto the point to get your Primal up.
You want to be about 2/3 of the way there, maybe, and he did reach that.
He got it.
It looked a bit dicey at first, but he got there anyway. All right, AKM, he's got that great high ground position that a lot of teams like to put their Zaryas on right now. Hard to contest. Oh, he gets knocked down, though. That is something. We'll see if Swan can get up to that Primal Rage. Gets stunned. Oh, he was down to 20 health. That was super close, but he stayed alive.
Yeah, how do they contest the point now, though? He's so low.
Oh, I don't know. You got to get the Zarya shield on him. They do just that. He does get the Primal Rage. Zephyr really low in his mech, though. Swan needs to stay alive more than anything. Here comes the self-destruct from Note. Ooh, it catches Zephyr, actually. That's a problem. Now AKM full charge on this Zarya, and I don't think he's going to need to use the grab. He should not. Dallas have this point.
Yeah, they do. And this is the problem with not getting Primal fast enough. As you can see, just in terms of Overwatch theory on that point, you've got about 4 points that you can contest. Try and get your Primal up. If it's not up on the point, you end up giving up free ticks and have to re-engage with it. It's just nowhere near as good.
Yeah. This grab almost gets eaten. Zephyr was standing right there.
Both
that
grabs
doesn't
eaten.
matter, though, because in the end, OGE just decides to kill everybody with a hammer. And both grabs eaten in the end, which is pretty funny. But Dallas Field crushed this point. Whoa, that was fast.
Lightning speed.
It's like 6:07 on the clock or something like that.
Yeah, Dallas Field, plenty of time bank, needless to say.
Wow.
It's about as fast as you can take Anubis, as it were.
Kidding. Well, we're going to take a quick break, which is going to end up being about as long as that round was. And when we come back, Florida Mayhem goes on the attack. Field 6 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock after that attack. It doesn't really get much quicker than that, does it?
No, Dallas Field did not die on that attack. No member of the Fuel was eliminated. Meanwhile, 11 eliminations from the side of the Fuel against the Florida Mayhem. So basically, they killed each of them once on first point, took the point, killed each of them except for one once on the second point, took that point. That is effectively the cleanest possible attack you can have in Overwatch.
Absolutely. That is tight. Well, guess what, guys? Sunday, May 5th, it's going to be Toronto Defiant taking on the Paris Eternal right here on Disney XD. That's right, and other places too. But, you know, you're a Disney XD audience. We like you. You can watch it on the same place we're watching it now.
Absolutely.
Let's check this out. OG had a great play at the end of B to help seal the deal here after the grab from AKM got eaten. Yeah, just a sick shatter, man. I mean, Swan just kind of walked right past it, died Unko, and that was GG, as they say. Good game.
Yeah, did look like he was booped there at the end. He was trying to go in with the bubble, but yeah, AKM going to do a little bit of scouting here on the Sombra. Meanwhile, Florida Mayhem looking like they may do some Sombra play of their own. BQB, one of his signature heroes, is that Sombra. He's trying to set himself up right now on the flank. Meanwhile, it will be the Winston played by the Dallas Fuel. And that's a great biotic grenade, actually, onto the Florida Mayhem. That's going to slow up their approach because they can't heal quite as quickly.
Yep, that's right. They're going to go aggressive anyway with the Dallas Fuel falling back. OG only about 20% towards his Primal Rage, Florida Mayhem. Doing the same thing Dallas did, not giving the Winston a lot of time to charge that up yet.
I mean, Winston's not even really trying, actually. This is interesting. We'll see what their plan is with the Sombra, because so far, it's been pretty passive Winston play from OG, and he's not really corralling them in those chokes.
Oh, we got hacked and taken out. Hagelpin with a ton of damage from that right click, and this might be a really quick point for Florida now.
Yeah, very well might be. Unko still here on the bridge. That's a very good sleep dart, but it gets woken immediately.
So then you rage at your teammates, right? Swan really low anyway. Looks like Note can't really be kept into his mech, unfortunately for Dallas, and I think they're going to have to give this one up in a hurry.
We'll see. OG's coming back. They have an EMP. They're going to try it.
That's an EMP. If anything's going to turn it around, that one will. Big EMP onto Florida. Swan and Saya player already down, so AKM may have just saved the day on point A here.
Waiting for OG to get back. They did have to give up 2 ticks, but they are going for this defense, and they are going to have it. Only the Sombra of the Florida Mayhem, BQB, left alive right now and on the point, but he's nearly to that EMP. Next push is the critical one for the Mayhem.
Well, that was great for Dallas, though. I mean, that's going to buy them probably another minute or so off the time bank here. AKM really kind of being the hero in that one with the EMP that sets him up to keep the point.
BQB does get shot down. That's a good stun. Bubble there just in the nick of time.
I thought he was dead for sure, man. EMP, is he going to try it? No, not quite. OG does get stunned. EMP does.
He can't ult.
Yeah, there's a hack there onto OG, and he cannot stay alive. Now Florida in prime position to try to take this one. They're going to jump onto Unko. Easy kill there as that Ana was separated from the rest of her team. Close her down as well, and that should be point A. AKM close to another EMP, but they've lost so many people already. I think maybe you just save that one for B, and yeah, they're going to give that up. I think that's smart.
I think it's definitely smart to hold that. Question for Dallas Fuel is, do they switch over to the Reinhardt now, or they probably should keep the Primal because of the Graviton so that they have some more HP to live through it. AKM with another EMP, though. Here we go.
I'd agree. EMP comes in big time. See if they can get some kills. 4 people on Florida get hit by that one. BQB a little bit low. Ooh, they nearly killed Zephyr, actually. Got really low on that Zarya. BQB comes in to finish off OG. They've got the sound barrier on the Mayhem side as well to keep Dallas Fuel off the point. This is a really clean-looking push from Florida all across the board here. BQB nearing another EMP already. They've got 2 ticks. They've got nearly the entire point here. Dallas is trying to hang out with that sound barrier, but they lose their diva anyway. OG, Primal Rage finally coming out. Gets hacked, though, so all he can do is kind of walk around and swing his arms. BQB coming in with the EMP now to hit everybody else on that. Decent bio grenade onto Florida, but everybody backs off around the pillars and stays healed up. And BQB on a rampage right now.
Yeah, but there's nobody really to eliminate him as it stands, and it's just the trickle onto the point right now as Dallas Fuel just try and buy time. Zachary is here on the wrecking ball, but gonna fall pretty quickly.
He's trying to be the pendulum here, but I think it's only ticking towards Dallas' demise. Although another big EMP comes out, and that grab does not get Florida anything. Dallas gets the respawns in, and OG even over on the Tracer right now. Hagopen takes him out anyway. But Dallas with a real chance here to turn this one around. Can't keep Zachary alive, though. Florida once more swinging the momentum back into their favor. Dallas buys some time, but Florida do take the point.
And we've seen this style of composition before. That we're looking at the Dallas Fuel right now. We talked a lot about it in the Houston Outlaws match in Dallas when they played against Seoul. Using that Sombra without the Zarya doesn't give you a lot of damage.
Yeah. Very true. Quick break, and when we come back, it's going to be time bank mode between our 2 teams. We have entered extra innings. It's time bank time between Dallas and Florida.
Yeah, and let's talk about the Dallas Fuel's composition because it's really interesting. I did reference the Houston Outlaws running a similar comp on Paris when they played in Dallas. But what's interesting about this one is the Ana, because the Ana gives you that nano boost as well, and most critically, the biotic grenade. And you don't need a lot of damage if the enemy team can't sustain through it.
Right.
But it does put you playing around very specific timing windows around that biotic grenade and that nano boost. So it's a difficult composition to execute for the Dallas Fuel, and they didn't do a great job of it on that last defense. We'll see if they can do a better one now.
Yeah, it's just fragile, you know? I mean, there's too many intricate pieces that if one falls apart, it's kind of like dominoes. The entire comp collapses really quickly.
Yeah, it is. It is very powerful if it works, but it's very positionally based. It would work much better against multi-DPS compositions because the total health pool is just lower.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they can do with it. Florida Mayhem not really changing up their attack too much. Nice hack onto OG. BQB has really been great on the Sombra so far this map.
Yeah, focusing OG very heavily as well.
Yeah. So Florida Mayhem attacking first because they had a little bit less time in the time bank. Dallas Field trying to eat as much of that time bank up as they can here with the defense. Another hack from BQB this time on the AKM. Oh no, a little bit low here. Unko taken out. Dallas Field gets 2, but they lose their Ana. That's a big piece. And now OG not really getting the healing he needs, and Florida's going to be able to turn that into a kill in their favor.
And that's how it's supposed to work, Doa, but because Florida doubles back onto OG, who used his jump cooldown, he gets caught off on the side. Now it's 4 members of the Mayhem. They have the faster respawn, and it's only AKM there on the flank trying to get just a little bit more ult. And they're just going to give it up. They just retreat all the way back.
You can see how when Unko died in that fight, even though Dallas had the numbers advantage, without the healing from the Ana, like you said, couldn't keep OG alive, and it falls apart very quickly.
I mean, it's not just the healing, right? It's the biotic grenade. You need the biotic grenade to kill some of these high HP tanks.
Well, Florida knows that. You know, they're going to try to prioritize killing Unko, especially Hagopan on that Zen. You can snipe that Ana fairly easily if there's nobody between you and her. That's a shot that a lot of Zens at this level are going to hit.
Yeah, you see right now they're looking for an opportunity to use this EMP, coming towards the point with BQB on the flank.
Yeah. Big EMP from AKM gets 4 members of Florida. OG, though, the first one to fall in this fight as Dallas takes one in return from BQB. Florida on the point right now, trying to get as much as they can. They've got the numbers advantage already. Dallas certainly coming out much worse than Florida in that affair. And oh boy, this is going to be a real fast round, isn't it? AKM can't even get back to the point. 4 points already for Florida.
I think this comp on defense is just too finicky for the Dallas Fuel. We saw their first attack was just a second outside of being one of our top 5 fastest Anubis attacks of all time. But on their defense, they're caving very quickly. And I really think this is just not the composition they want to run here. They should go straight up for the Zarya play, put AKM back on that hero. Don't have to use the Sombra here. They can play more standard.
I agree. Yeah, and I'd like to see them go back to doing what they were doing during the homestand weekend, right?
Yeah.
They had some pretty good defenses on Anubis, and it's interesting to see them change it up. You know, you can see, like you said, you can see what they're trying to do, but it's just something that can be disrupted a bit easier than other defensive compositions, it seems like right now.
Well, it also just falls apart if you hack the Winston, which is exactly what BQB has been doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, Florida knows exactly what they need to do. Eliminate the Winston, eliminate the Ana, you know, and if you can't take them out, at least hack them, right?
Yep. And now they are going to go back to playing the Winston and the Zarya on the defense. So Florida Mayhem up to the same thing. Dallas Fuel most likely just going to go for the Rhine 3-3. Served them well on their last attack. No need to switch it up now.
I'd be excited to see Zachary on the Genji, but nope, going to be the Brigida instead. And Dallas on the attack here. Florida Mayhem not going with that composition that we saw Dallas use on defense. They will have BQB on the Zarya. That damage and stability. Here we go. And it's going to be Swan getting a good amount of charge there on that first little poke with the Tesla cannon, up to about 30% here. AKM, though, speaking of charge, that Zarya already doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, you can see him, pretty good amount of energy already, up at creeping towards 80%. Now as they're going to take the high ground, Swan doing better on the charge this time around. He'll have another shot right here. Actually falls off, so...
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't have railings. It's a safety issue.
I mean, every time you put up railings in the Overwatch League, though, Doa, they get taken down by the players.
I know. You just can't win if you're safety conscious in this game. What can you do? Dallas Fuel on the point right now. AKM, ooh, in a lot of trouble. He got booped towards the enemy team. Lucky he lived through that, actually. Oh, Swan, not so lucky. His note picks him out of the air. It's like the most deadly high five I've ever seen. Zephyr does manage to get some revenge onto Unko here. Hagopan in a lot of trouble. Has to pop that Transcendence just to stay alive. And it does help his team walk in for a team fight win. Dallas going to go back to spawn.
Yeah, big stagger onto AKM2. Going to finish him off.
Yep. He's going to lose all that charge as well.
Yeah, Unko the only one left standing. BQB already with a Graviton Surge. So Florida Mayhem all of a sudden looking like they are in control here on Temple of Anubis, a map that they have not won so far in 2019.
I don't know, man. Don't get too excited. That was one fight. Dallas still has 4:40 on the clock, though. They got plenty of time to bring it back again. They got a lot of ults coming up.
I mean, they would have to have another performance like we saw in the first one. Remember, it took them nearly 2 minutes to get through the map. So even if you're optimistic, Doa, you're looking at a push in terms of time right now.
I'm always optimistic, Conti. You know that. BQB. Oh, OG takes out Hagopan with a charge. It's a big first pick. AKM in a lot of trouble, though. He has to hide. Well, he gets a little bit of health back again. Swan trying to keep things going with that Primal Rage. OG went for the Shatter. Don't think he got a whole lot. Hard to see there. Whoa, but the turnaround on the Zarya ultimate here. Zephyr gets OG. That's a big one at that self-destruct. Maybe Dallas can equalize with the grab. Side player and Swan both very, very low. Zachary just not in a position to finish him off. AKM has to do something.
Ooh, Swan barely living too, and that's not enough time for Hagabin to return.
Yeah.
They're going to sound barrier and go on the attack.
I think they can. I think that's really big, man. Dallas has to back away. They've lost Unko now in Florida again. Winning a big fight, turning that one around in the end. It looked like a good start for Dallas.
Yeah, I think Florida has actually adapted very well to what Dallas is doing.
Yeah.
Don't really expect them to throw out those kind of defenses at you. They took advantage of it. They've adapted from that first defense that they've had against the Dallas Fuel, and now Dallas, they're going to have a lesser time bank even if they do make it through this map.
So note, what do? You engage with the self-destruct, you just build some ultimate charge here. Oh, maybe you just try to kill BQB. Note's going to drop that self-destruct. No kills out of that one, but he does get his mech back again. Don't know if that really got Dallas a ton per se.
Zephyr?
They did separate Zephyr and Swan, actually. Whoa, that was weird,
What?
man. Florida kind of splitting themselves up. Grab comes in. That doesn't get Dallas a whole lot. Everything's kind of going a bit crazy right now. AKM down after he uses that grab. Zachary pops a rally, but there's nobody really around to benefit from that too much. That said, though, BQB separated from his team. And Florida Mayhem, that had looked so tight so far in the defense, just kind of pulls themselves apart.
I mean, you can't do that when AKM has the Graviton Surge. If you just fly in and get demeched, then the Graviton is just so easy for them to place on the point. So Dallas Fuel gets a bit of a freebie there.
I mean, that was a little bit of the older Florida Mayhem that we were seeing earlier in the stage, right? Where especially talking about Zephyr, he would kind of go on these like commando missions by himself and kind of end up throwing fights a little bit for his team.
I mean, I understand why we saw Swan going in there with a Primal Rage, was trying to be disruptive and was trying to make sure he got some value of that ultimate as it was on the back end of the channel time. But, well, that's rough.
It is indeed. Dallas Fuel with an actual chance here to get about the same time bank if they can stay alive. That self-destruct though, Zephyr not finding anybody. Sound barrier for Dallas to block a lot of that damage anyway. Coming back onto the point now, Florida Man pushed away. Swan getting really low. Note's gonna pop that self-destruct. Sound barrier out for Florida as well to try to counteract that damage. Now Zachary comes in with the rally. Extra armor on his team. And Hagelpin gonna use the Transcendence to let his team get a little bit more aggressive onto Dallas here. BQB so close to that grab now. Oh, but Swan is gone. Needs to be a good grab. They lost their main tank. Florida needs to get some kills here.
Can't do it. Transcendence is there, so there's just not enough damage. And Dallas Fuel gonna be pushing this one on through.
Dallas is looking so good at the moment. That's the team gotten rid of Swan on the desperation wrecking ball now, but he's gonna get wrecked. 2 ticks for sure. About to be taken by Dallas Fuel. Chris being kind of annoying on that Lucio. And Hagelpin back with the Tracer. How much time can he buy? They've got a good amount of time bank used up here. Florida, that is. BQB on the May now. Can't get behind the wall, though. He's going to be on top of it, and that's where he's going to die here. And Dallas, they take it. Less time in the time bank, but they're up at 4 points as well.
That's right. We're going to have to go through to another move through this map here. Both teams having another shot at the attack right now. Dallas Fuel, though, with only 1:19.
Quick break, and when we come back, yet another round. History, man. Well, things started to be a little bit reminiscent of a Dallas Temple of Anubis game we had last year. I believe that went to 7-6 against the Soul Dynasty. Now, before you say it, Monty, I know it's a completely different roster on Dallas, but it's organizational history, all right?
Doesn't matter. Literally entirely different players, entirely different coaches.
Who cares? Same team. Same team, man.
No, literally entirely different people. Not the same team.
Logo, same color on the jerseys up there. Same.
Let's just put it this way, Doa. If I were to wear a Doa skin, that doesn't make me Doa. Just saying.
Nothing can make you Doa. There's only one. I'm one of a kind, man.
And for that, I consider myself lucky.
Me too.
Everybody's happy. All right,
after I dealt with that evil clone, it's got a lot easier. Dallas Fuel on the attack again. Only about a minute, though, to try to get some points here on Temple of Anubis. Tied up at 4-4 against Florida Mayhem. Oh, Unko down already. But Saya player pays the price as well. Zachary going in, getting the double kill, setting OGE up for one into Hagupin as well. Dare you fight the Brigitte Swan? How dare you, you fool! Closer comes in and steals the honorable final blow, but it's looking pretty good for Dallas already.
Yeah, Dallas this time coming in with the Winston. I think that surprised Florida Mayhem because they start diving them nearly immediately.
Yeah.
So mixing it up on their last attack, now they're going to be able to take that momentum, get another 30 seconds on the clock here to make something happen. Big point though, BQB ahead on the Graviton Surge charge. So it may be difficult for Dallas to go ahead and snowball this. They are changing to the Reinhardt as well.
I think it really depends on Unko getting that Transcendence up. They need a support ultimate to deal with this grab if they're going to push fast.
They should be able to get it up.
Yeah.
We'll see. They can engage with the rally, but they're probably going to poke a little bit more just to try and even out this ult charge, get AKM closer to that grab.
The rally's going to help them be aggressive here. BQB, he has to drop that grab. He was feeling the pressure here. Can they finish off Dallas, though? Unko gets his Transcendence in the nick of time. And Florida can't get any kills out of that ultimate at least. BQB now, as soon as his shield is done, he might be in a little bit of trouble. Note on the point, he's got that self-destruct. Going after Hagupin with a Buddy Blaster. Zephyr, though, takes AKM down with his own self-destruct and Hagupin having none of Note's aggression. It looks like this is where the push is going to end for Dallas. They're going to have to settle for 5 points total on this one.
Yeah, Closer bouncing around, trying to make something happen, but that will do it.
Yeah.
Dallas Fuel can still hold, though, on A to win or on B to draw.
Right. And there's still just about 2 minutes in the time bank for Florida Mayhem. So it's a good amount of time, but it's not that much more than Dallas had, only about 30 seconds or so.
I mean, I think under no circumstances should they run that Sombra defense again if you're the Dallas Fuel. Go ahead, try and play with the Zarya and the Winston most likely on the defense.
Well, they can't hear you, Monty. They have to make decisions themselves.
We'll hope they make the right ones.
We'll see. Hey, look, it's Scooby-Doo. No, oh wait, I've got that wrong.
Yes.
It's like Scooby-Doo if he was in like some like awesome like mecha action show.
You know, it's like you take a symbol that's been around and part of history for thousands of years, and you compare it to something that is merely a blip in human history.
You got it, man.
Scooby-Doo.
Temple of Scanubis. That's right. Well, Dallas have granted your wish, Monty, and they're not going to run that same defense. They're going at the Reinhardt 3-3. They're still running that Ana, which I think is totally fine. I think on the defense,
yeah, sure.
Ana can kind of camp out a little bit. Doesn't need to be quite as mobile.
Also, you have to have some level of pressure in case they play a Pharah here or some like a Widowmaker, something that at least has some level of long range ability to provide pressure.
Yeah.
So, and they are going to go back and they see the Reinhardt, and
All
this
right.
means they are going to make a DPS swap.
Yeah, that's right. Swan over to the Wrecking Ball. Let's see what else they got. No? Okay, Reinhardt.
All right, so he's going to switch back to a composition with just the Sombra.
Oh, but no, BQB swaps to the Zarya now. Well, they've decided to take the little ult charge that they had and set it back to 0.
Interesting choice. I mean, you do want the Reinhardt mirror potentially here. It does make you a little bit stronger on this attack and gives you more presence on the point. So I think for Florida, that's their goal.
All right. Let's see what they do. OG goes for the Fire Strike. Doesn't connect with a whole lot of people, though. And Zephyr getting aggressive. Oh, Sleep Dart on the Zephyr. That was sick from Unko. He's going to be taken out, but OGE down, though. They couldn't keep him alive during that. There goes Zachary as well. This might be a really quick point A. The Sleep Darts don't really help you too much if your entire team dies in the process.
I think the biggest part of it, Doa, was that the play was right from Unko. Sleep Dart straight into Biotic Grenade, but he only hit Chris. So the anti-heal wasn't there on the front line that he really, really needed to hit.
Right. You Sleep Dart the Diva, then there's no defense matrix to prevent the Bio Grenade from going through. So the process was correct, but you're not doing any healing really in that.
The execution didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Execution did not work there.
Still sick to Sleep Dart, though. All right, Dallas Fuel. Defending point B. They can still force the draw if they don't allow Florida Mayhem to get a point. But with OG down again, Florida Mayhem may just roll right into this one. Oh boy.
Yeah, they're coming back. They have a player up right now. Dallas Fuel in survival mode on this point.
Florida only needs one ticket. They've gotten 2 kills already. 0. Make that 3 as AKM goes down. No more damage. Zephyr does get demacked, but it's not the biggest deal in the world when the entire team is still there. They only need that 1 tick. Oh, that's so close. Can Dallas even get somebody on the point long enough to prevent? Now if somebody dies, there goes Note. He got the self-destruct. Doesn't matter too much, though. Dallas, who do they have on the point right now?
Nano boosted Lucio.
It's going to be the Boostio. Oh, but closer can't sustain, and that's going to be Florida Mayhem tying things up.
And there's your favorite Florida fan, Noah.
That's right. His name is Anthony. Remember him.
He's
Florida.
here. And that's an impressive win from Florida to come back from a huge time bank and actually pull out the win.
Hey, I love it, man. We're all tied up going to halftime. Don't go anywhere. More Overwatch League coming right up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile, and by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Pretty incredible when we first walked out there. Like the amount of volume that we heard from the crowd there, like it was actually deafening just how loud it was.
긴장을 해서 예상대로 위축이 될 줄 알았는데 팬들 앞에서 환호성 받고 응원받고 하다 보니까 긴장이 풀려서 게임에 더 집중할 수 있었던 것 같아요.
Before joining the team, I was worried whether I was going to be accepted by the fans, whether they'd, like me and approve of me, I guess. But after this whole event, I feel like I'm fully part of the team now and fully part of that big community of Dallas fans.
That was an awesome clip of our players reacting to the Dallas homestand from last week. And welcome back into the Blizzard Arena, though, here in LA. It's Puckett, I've got Sideshow, I've got Bren, and you can see on our scoreboard, it's 1-1 here. What's going on, guys? Early impressions of this match.
The series has been insanely close between these two teams.
Yeah,
None of us expected it on the analyst desk. I think Florida right now looking like a real contender now. Dallas looking, I guess, slightly off the mark as well in terms of their performance.
I think this is the big thing. We had this discussion in the post-show, and we were talking about, is Dallas actually going to be, is this going to be a trap game for them? They've just come back from their homestand. Are they going to be feeling like they can still put their foot on the gas? They don't look like it. They look really shaky to me. Their front line is dysfunctional.
I will say as well, they've had quite a tight turnaround coming off the Dallas event. They were traveling all on the Monday. Their first match of the day is on the Thursday as well. Haven't had much time to prep as well, which could have been playing a part into it.
I know I'm wiped. The players got to be feeling it too. But let's take a look at this first map because, yes, it's Florida on the board first. Dallas answers back, but this is the moment that wins Dallas the game. This could have gone either way.
This is a ridiculous moment from them. You can see how hard Florida is trying to actually take out OGE. Great peel from Zachary here as well.
So good.
Brit players don't really get enough credit because it's often hard to see their impact, but he manages to stave them off OG long enough to build up the rally, keep the heals going as well, and give enough time for AKM to come back.
Going into the second map, though, I thought it was going to be Dallas. They had a very fast time on their first attack, but Hagopun and Florida keep bringing it here. They both went to 4 points, and then it was all settled on each team's third attack.
It was an incredibly close game, but Hagopun has been consistent every single time that this team does well, the Florida Mayhem. It's Hagopun coming out with big plays, be it the Ana, be it the Zen. His transcendences have been decent. They've been a little risky at times, but it doesn't matter because they punish AKM, so they can't get counter grabs. So this is actually Florida playing a pretty decent game against a Dallas that's struggling a little, and Hagopun's one of the main reasons why they're having success.
Brent, do you think Florida is on the up and up? Have they shown you enough so far? Or are you still looking for more in the second half?
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind as well is that Florida Mayhem right now, they are going to be rebuilding in the near future. Now, these players as well, that's a lot of pressure being put onto them, but if there was ever a time to start performing, it would be now to show that you have value to the team. You want to be showing that your key pieces. I think everyone's stepping up on Florida now and playing at a much higher level than they have previously.
Today's a big match for both of these teams, especially this Dallas squad who's trying to get into the playoffs. If they want to get into the Stage 2 playoffs, they could do it by winning a big second half. Josh, who's one player we should be focusing on?
I think you should be looking at how AKM is playing. AKM's getting focused down quite a lot in this. He's not being able to build up his grabs very quickly, and the synergy isn't quite there. But I also want to pay attention to Note, who is a fantastic player for this team, and it allows them to do a lot of weird things. So for all the Diva players out there as well, I'm going to run you through an Insights powered by Intel to take a look at how a lot of these top Diva players play.
Teach me, Josh. Teach me.
And look at some weird stuff. Because a lot of the times you'll see the Diva in weird positions like this. I mean, he's so far away from the rest of his team, but the Florida Mayhem are going to drop to the point. And Note knows that he can apply a lot of pressure to the Reinhardt, who's going to be positioned around there. Now, the question when you find these players, the Owl players in weird positions, is can they be punished? Can the Florida Mayhem actually just go onto them? Well, Dallas will just rush into their backline and take them out. So you can't really punish Note's positioning here because you would just trade a DMAC for the entirety of the team loss. So this is the situation where Swan drops down. Note's still aggressively positioned, and you can see Swan's turned his shield. He doesn't know who to focus on. He's going to take a lot of damage on his back, and Note's going to either do a lot of damage to him or boop him forward into the rest of the team. So by taking these off angles as the Diva and not just relying on sitting behind your own shield, you can see how he's able to give his team the advantage in the Reinhardt v Reinhardt battle. So he goes through for the boop, doesn't manage to find too much here, but then sits on an off angle again to the side of the rest of his team, continuing to do damage behind the shield of Swan and making sure that his team wins the Rein v Rein matchup. And I don't know about you guys, but I've had a lot of games in the kind of the diamond level where you play with Divas who either just go straight into the enemy backline.
You gotta hold forward.
Just chunk into the enemy backline, which
normally
don't do
you.
that. That is me a little bit. That's also Pocket. And some who play too passive. But sitting on key off angles like that and really studying the Owl players can really provide a boost to your game, I think.
All right, well, final question for you guys. Well, first of all, thank you for teaching me how to be a better Diva. Note took no damage. I always get DMAC'd in 2 seconds. But final thoughts here. How does this one play out? Earlier, you both said it was going to be Dallas. You still on the Dallas train?
Yeah, I mean, if Dallas don't get unshooketh, I don't know how to describe their current condition.
Unshooketh?
But shooketh, yeah, well, why not? I mean, this is realistically going to be Florida I mean, they're on the precipice of taking this one away. And Dallas, they know how much this match means. But remember, they need to win this to make the Stage 2 playoffs.
Yes.
To clinch it. So important.
Their coaches have to be talking to them in the dugout right now and pressing on them how important this match is, and that they have to come out in the second half and turn things around. This is Dallas's game to lose, and at the moment, they're on the precipice of doing so.
There you heard it. It's Dallas's game to lose. We'll find out. Can Florida play spoiler? That's coming up after this.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back to the Overwatch League, guys. Doa and Monty here, halfway, presumably, through this match between the Dallas Fuel and the Florida Mayhem, but it's pretty close. Both teams, one map apiece. Florida taking Temple of Anubis. I don't know, what do you think? Do you think they can keep the momentum going?
It's been surprisingly competitive, and I agree with what Sideshow said at halftime. I think they really do need to make some adjustments, and honestly, Dallas needs to play like they actually care about this match, and they should really care about this because they want to lock up their spot in the stage playoffs, and they couldn't have asked for an easier opportunity to do it.
You'd think so. And maybe, their opponent isn't quite as easy as they thought it was going to be, but like you said, if they win today, they've got the playoffs locked in. Like, they can actually just be in the playoffs by just winning.
Yeah.
If they don't win, suddenly you're 4-3, and you got all that stuff to worry about with map differential with all the other teams. Like, Dallas did not want to be in that position.
I mean, their fate is in their hands right now. If they lose, their fate is no longer in their hands. They will have to wait on some other results in this league. It's not the place you want to be after having a fantastic first homestand weekend in front of your fans. This would be a major disappointment.
They would be dead to Monty forever.
Not forever.
I don't think I'm exaggerating when I talk about your feelings.
They'd be dead to me for this stage. But, the Florida Mayhem actually are putting on a much better show than expected. And I think it's unfair to talk about Dallas without also recognizing that the Florida Mayhem are performing at a level that really haven't seen from them much so far in 2019.
All right. Dallas Fuel on the defense as we get things rolling on our hybrid map, Kings Row. Florida Mayhem. See what they decide to bring to this one. BQB was on the Sombra, but he's going to swap over to the Zarya after doing a little bit of scouting.
Yeah, you just don't want to play that Sombra as your main source of damage against a Reinhardt 3-3 composition. It's
right.
Too high risk.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams do it along with the Zarya, but I think it's good. Nothing doing for Florida Mayhem as they try to push forward here. Kind of watching a lot of that ult charge now. See who can build it a little bit quicker here with the mirrored compositions. Dallas moving back on the point right now. Chris trying to get behind the team. He does displace OG a little bit, and that leads to a kill for Florida. They're doing it again, man.
A side player was on the flank right there, and he gets behind OG. So that's the major play is the Brigitte gets in between the Dallas Fuel tank and the rest of the team, and that means they're able to take him out relatively quickly. The pressure on OG on this series has been significant.
Yeah, that's right. And people have been talking about him playing a lot better lately, and I think you have to credit a lot of that to Note, being on this team too. I think he definitely did kind of unlock a little bit of OG's potential, but at the end of the day, he's still got to be a tank that's not going to get caught by something like that.
Yeah, at least Dallas Fuel does have the Nano Boost and AKM's Graviton Surge. They also fell back. Now they're going to go for the Graviton now.
Yeah, they got to get this to work too. They want to hold right here in this doorway. OG charges back out of the fight to try to stay safe. Meanwhile, he gets the Nano Boost as well. Tries to counter shatter, gets a pretty big one. They need kills though. They need to actually take people of Florida Mayhem out of the fight, and they haven't been able to do that yet.
I mean, they can push them back, though. That's the thing, is as long as they're holding Florida Mayhem, they can back off, give them a little bit of time, but let that rally fall away on the side of the Fuel a little bit.
I mean, Florida Mayhem, Shatter comes in, but Swan down. Zachary takes him down, and Note gets another one with the self-destruct. So Dallas Fuel playing it patient. They back off. They get Florida Mayhem in a position they need, get the kills.
I think they could actually play this, I think, more aggressively, considering how close they are to a Shatter, another grab sound barrier right now. But instead, they want to play around the choke point.
It's a good place to hold on this map. Your opponent's approach options are pretty limited.
And Florida's really hurting for ultimates right now, though. What are they going to do, really, with a sound barrier and a self-destruct? They have to engage with the self-destruct.
Yeah, Zephyr throwing it right into the bookstore, and he gets Unko. Hugga putting Saya player down, though. Note claims a couple supports on the way out here, and AKM with the grab to try to seal the deal. Sound barrier not gaining Florida really anything. And Note doing what Note does best, going in and executing those supports that are vulnerable.
Yeah, the problem is that they didn't get the D-Mech, though, onto Zephyr. And that's huge because they actually needed that stagger to buy time to get their reviving, respawning members back through. So as a result, Florida is a net win in that fight, and they're going to be able to push the payload away from that choke point that was so problematic.
I choose to think they let the payload push so they wouldn't endanger the bookstore anymore.
Oh, okay. That's nice of you.
It was very reckless of Zephyr to throw his self-destruct in there, you know?
I'm going to see him in another choke right now. BQB sitting on that Graviton Surge. He's trying to take a flank.
Right. If BQB approaching now with the grab. He's going to just toss it in there. Does not get eaten. OG a little bit low. Zachary in a lot of trouble as well. Self-destruct from Note doesn't equalize enough, and Florida Mayhem will keep this payload going.
Yeah, Florida really on the move right now. Held up temporarily on B after a quick A-attack victory. They're looking at some more opportunities now. Will the Dallas Fuel come for this defense? Looks like there's not going to be a chance for them even to start a defense here at B. More time on the clock now.
It's going to be a lot of time on the clock for the Florida Mayhem. Over 4 minutes available to them to try to take point C. A lot of ultimates, too.
Lots of tools to work with for sure. Dallas just trying to use as many abilities as they can right now. Make sure that they get a little bit of poke damage in, so they have a chance to get those ults up back online.
Swan turning around on OG. Ooh, he nearly got knocked off the edge there. That shatter gets blocked for the most part. OG still standing strong with that shield, but it's going to end. Tries to shatter. Zephyr doesn't end up working out, though. Dallas Field slowly giving up ground here.
I mean, they have to give up ground. They don't have any barrier for the Reinhardt anymore. Graviton Surge going to come in, but AKM actually eliminates himself.
I mean, he was just so low that the close right click was enough to take him down. OG does get Saya player, but then he drops right afterwards. Florida Mayhem losing members of the team here, but maybe not quite fast enough. Now with Swan down, Dallas might be able to kind of hold things a bit more. They've used Uncle's Transcendence as well to make this happen. But at least they're going to get a little bit of breathing room on the payload.
Well, luckily for them, too, they have sort of surged ahead in the ult economy. Florida Mayhem used quite a bit to not push that payload, and they're going to be on some economy pushes right now, matching sound barriers, but Fuel looking at a rally they can use to play aggressively, and they're just going to go in with the self-destruct.
I mean, that's as aggressive as it gets, and it does get Hagelpin as well. You can't push without that Zenyatta. Swan, nice exit kills by Dallas at the end of this fight, too. That's going to buy even more time for them.
I mean, teams in the last few weeks have gotten so much better at using the self-destruct by itself. We've seen a subtle shift in the meta come about where the start of this stage, or the start of the season, it was a lot of trying to pair it with the Graviton Surge. As teams got better against defending with it, that's when it starts to be used in a cycle against the Graviton Surge just to buy time for more ults to come up.
I feel like we're kind of even returning to an older style of playing D.Va, where you did do a lot of engaging with that self-destruct. It's kind of old school in a way.
It coming full circle for sure.
It really has, yeah. OG pushing forward, looking for a chance to shatter. Wants to drop that ultimate on Florida Mayhem here. They've got a couple crucial support ultimates to weather the storm, though, as long as they can survive it. Swan's shield not broken there, so the shatter does get blocked. Swan low regardless. Hagelbin has to use that Transcendence. Zephyr comes in with the self-destruct. No kills with that one, though.
Big
now
shatter.
The shatter for Swan. That's going to do a bit better, but OG does get the charge kill on Hagelbin anyway. Unco with another one onto the main tank. Florida Mayhem going aggressive to try to just end this fight and then go back and push the payload. They're even going to use the grab, but Unco has a Transcendence right there. OG with another kill on the Saya player here. Dallas pushes back, and now Florida in a really rough spot with only a minute left on the time bank.
And the ult economy, Della. Florida used everything in that fight. They're not going to be able to come back, especially because BQB used the grab. That's the real tragedy. Because the grab coming out, yes, it forced the Transcendence, but they don't, even though there aren't any support ults on the Dallas Fuel right now, there's no real threat from the Florida Mayhem.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the rally. They've got their own grab that they're going to use right now. Swan not going to live through that one. BQB taken out as well. And now just 50 seconds remaining for Florida. And it's tough, too, right? Because you got to build those ultimates, but you also have to build up that damage on the Zarya at the same time.
Yeah, and now 40 seconds left. Florida Mayhem really in a rough position. They're going to have to basically poke and play a neutral game right now for the rest of the time bank, and then hope they can win a couple of back-to-back fights.
Well, that's the thing. So if you're Dallas here, you have to decide, how much space you give up. Are you going to be aggressive and just try to win another fight? How many ultimates would you have to use if that's the case?
So Hagerman is going to get the Transcendence online, something for Florida Mayhem, one more tool in their toolbox.
True enough. 10 seconds. Florida Mayhem running out of time. They got to try to win a fight, or they're going to have a long overtime push here. Swan in a lot of trouble. Can they finish him? They can. Self-destruct comes in and picks up Hagelpin as well. Crucial members of Mayhem down for the count, and nobody on the payload. Dallas Fuel Really, they managed to rally in that defense. That was really looking like it was going to be a fast time for Florida, but they got stopped cold on C.
I love the way Dallas played that. They fell back behind the corner to use the cover, gave up ground, but they did it so Florida wouldn't have as many ults online, striking right in overtime. That was very well executed.
Yeah, really well done by Dallas. Quick break, and then Florida Mayhem tries to defend. Deal with the successful defense here on Kings Row, holding it at point C. Florida Mayhem not getting as far as they would have hoped for. Now, don't forget, guys, All-Stars, you can always pick those up, man. 200 tokens for each of those. That's going to be pretty sick. And there's going to be a lot more All-Star stuff coming up, too, man. I hope I get to play in the talent takedown.
More losses for you, no doubt.
That's right. 5:15.
Really? You agree with that? Interesting.
Starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Talent Takedown presented by T-Mobile and the All-Star Arcade presented by State Farm. I can't wait for all of that stuff, man. By the way, the workshop is like the best thing ever to happen to Overwatch. I am so psyched about
Besides
that.
the Overwatch League.
Besides the Overwatch League. The best thing since the Overwatch League. That's what I meant to say. I'm just excited. It's excited that maybe I can finally make Zen run. We'll see. Dallas still pushing forward here. See if they can finish the map. That would win it for him.
Don't even have to.
Oh, Zephyr. Well, you know, they just get to finish earlier. OG on his own. A little bit of trouble here. They've got him isolated behind the shield. He's not getting the healing. Lucky to get him back there. Note gets demeched in the process, though. Zephyr, if they can demech him, they can equalize. AKM in a lot of trouble, and he's going to go down. Florida Mayhem, strong defense out of the gate.
That's right. And taking a look at Note right now, will be able to get his mech back eventually.
Yeah.
Goes back into spawn, but late staggers. I love how aggressively Florida is playing this.
Yeah.
Get yourself a little bit more ult charge. Don't even have to use an ult. Zachary uses rally for reasons that I do not understand.
Yeah, that's not going to result in a lot of armor being available for Dallas Fuel as they do their next push here. Probably an ultimate he wants back, but Florida Mayhem have done just a good job of separating OG from the rest of the team. You know, they get their Reinhardt in front of them. That's a grab. Wow, that is definitely not a grab that BQB is going to be happy with. Nobody in Florida caught by that. That might actually just be the point. Now if they can get Swan, Dallas will be in big trouble. Oh boy, but the shatter comes in from Florida. Unko popping the Transcendence, trying to keep everybody alive, and he does. Dangerous moment for Dallas, but they don't end up suffering too much. Now the shatter comes in from OG. Transcendence from Hagopan to keep his Zarya up and running. And Florida Mayhem turning this fight around here. Dallas Fuel starting to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, Florida's going to win this.
Oh boy. Yeah, they will.
Self-destruct right there to get a remech opportunity for Zephyr.
Yeah, Saya player should be able to get back to his team. He died, but he does get back right now.
And it's going to be coming back around. So BQB holding it down with that 80 energy.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on AKM's Graviton Search here. Very important. Only the sound barrier available for the Florida Mayhem.
Yep. Not a lot to work with. There's a grab. They're going to use it. They're going to trap Swan. inside the statue. Chris drops the sound barrier. Oh, no, finds Hagopen with the self-destruct. Swan still has not made it out of the statue. He's in there trying to stay safe. Sound barrier, though. Ooh, charge comes in, but Swan can't get the kill. Now he's down, and Dallas Fuel have a chance to finally take point A.
A little bit rough there from the Florida Mayhem, but they didn't have too many options of how they were going to play that. Graviton Surge keeping Swan inside the statue and opening up the opportunities for Dallas Fuel to eliminate the rest of the members of Mayhem, particularly Note.
Yep.
Got that critical kill onto Hagopen.
Note's been finding a lot of really sneaky self-destruct kills today. It really is kind of what we mentioned, this kind of old school Zarya play where you try to just be sneaky about where you put that exploding mech and catch people off guard with it. He's done a great job.
Yeah, the Diva play has been coming in clutch for Note for sure, and finding those ultimate placements has changed the tide of a few of these fights like that last one.
Who wants a big Earth Shatter? You want a big Earth Shatter? OG.
He always wants a big Earth Shatter.
He wants
Every
to deliver,
player wants a big Earth Shatter, Doa.
Wants to deliver big Earth Shatter for you. For all the fans out there who wants to get it. Finish point B. Just trying not to... He's protecting the bookstore right now. Appreciate that. Coming in. There's the grab. Gonna wait it out. Can he get Swan? Didn't hit the charge, but he did get Saya player in that one, actually. Hagopen can't save him. There's the Shatter coming in. Not gonna pick up anybody, though. And another one! Note gets BQB with the self-destruct. That is all Dallas needs to get a lot of distance on this payload.
Yeah, they have some good discipline, too, in keeping some ults available. Because they have that rally, they can play aggressively, which opens up more options for OG to hit a big Shatter.
Yeah.
You can walk forward more freely. That's when you get some really nice angles for Reinhardt. Florida Mayhem on the other side have a Graviton, though.
That's right. Point B, looming for Florida Mayhem to try to contest with. OG gets stunned as he tries to come out of the hallway. Now he's in the grab. Self-destruct comes in for Zephyr, but no kills. Sound barrier on the Florida Mayhem as they get aggressive here. BQB, though, the one who goes down. OG finishes him with a fire strike, and now with the sound barrier, Dallas trying to put the period on the end of this sentence with a big team fight win at the end of B. AKM going to dedicate the grab to it as well, though. That's going to be what they need to finish off B. Couple ultimates available.
Yeah, they have seen all of the support ults from the Florida Mayhem, and you may say, do you really want to really just invest the grab right there? And the answer is yes, because if you take this point, you have so much time to build all of your ult economy back up, and it's really not that far, just around that corner. It's one fight territory now.
That's a good point. And they're already there. Florida Mayhem on their last defense. Note gets another one. How many times has he killed Hagopen with that self-destruct today? That's insane. How does he do it?
There you go, Noah.
I'll tell you how he does it. He's a genius. That's how. Dallas Fuel finishes Kings Row. They are going to take the lead in this series. Note the hero. What an addition to this team this guy's been.
I mean, he's just smart about the way he plays around space, right? He throws that Diva mech very far back when they're trying to run to the respawn. There's not really a choice. There's no cover for Hagopen to get behind.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff. Dallas Fuel. Florida Man with another chance to tie it up, though, when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Dallas Fuel taking the lead in the series with a big win on Kings Row. Note playing out of his mind on that diva, finding Hagopan basically like every time he self-destructed. That was it. That was just some great old school diva play right there, man. That was sick.
Yeah, really fun to watch. And we've seen a lot more diva players start trending in that direction as it becomes more difficult to execute the bigger bang combo of throwing that diva mech into a graviton. Teams are simply too good at saving the sound barrier for it. And so now it's become more of an engaged tool. And it's been working really well. And the other thing here for Florida fans is as we head to Rialto, they are 3-1 on this map. So this is arguably the Mayhem's best map this year.
It's going to have to be because they're going to need to win it if they want to tie up the series and go to the 5th and final control map. But Dallas Fuel, remember what it means for them. If they win this map right now, they are in the Stage 2 playoffs. That would only ever be their second stage playoffs appearance.
I just think that Dallas Fuel, they wanted to be in a position where this match had already been closed out by the time we got to Rialto, because this is the most dangerous map for them. And even if they do win this series, it doesn't do much for their map differential. They'll be in playoffs, but they might not get the seed they want.
True enough. Florida Mayhem ready to guard the first corner here on Rialto, our escort map. Getting things started, we'll see how far Dallas Fuel can push the payload. Don't need to unlock this one, it's just waiting for you. How convenient. AKM pushes forward, puts a shield on himself to get himself a bit of charge. Get that damage built up.
So it's definitely going to be a 3-3 map the entire way through. No teams really differentiating themselves in team compositions on this map.
Neither of these two teams anyway.
Well, I mean, very few teams overall. Occasionally we see a bunker composition, but for the most part it is overwhelmingly Winston or Reinhardt 3-3.
Yeah, as long as your name's not the Chengdu Hunters, pretty much. Now Swan doing a lot of damage here. Hagopan puts the orb on him. Got to keep him healed up, man. He's had a pretty good day, but Florida Mayhem on the outside looking into this fight. Can they finish off OG? His health has dropped low. Hagopan prioritizing the damage right now. Trying to get it done. We'll see if he can. Swan down. He can't keep his tank alive. OG with a big kill there, and that's going to be some distance that Dallas is going to be pretty happy with.
Yeah, Dallas needs every meter that this payload moves to, just as that insurance against Florida Mayhem coming back on their maps. We've seen Florida go down at the start of this series on Anubis and managed to make it claw their way back in and win the map. So
anything's possible. It's going to be the grab from AKM, though. Traps a lot of members of Florida. Hagopan does have the Transcendence, though. Able to get enough healing into his team to keep him alive. Big Shadow, though, comes in from OG, setting AKM up for another kill there, and that's going to be point A, taken by Dallas in a pretty quick order.
Yeah, that's a very respectable point A time to still have 5 minutes left. They basically won every fight on point A, so hard to imagine. It could have gone much faster for the Fuel, and that's exactly what they need.
Yeah.
See him turn the corner right now. Florida Mayhem will be positioning themselves onto that high ground. Do have Graviton up and available, but with two support ults, hard to believe they're going to get a ton of value out of it.
Yep. And I wonder if they're going to start trying to use Zephyr self-destruct in the way that Dallas has been using notes, trying to engage with that. They've been doing a little bit, but it's been used more traditionally right now from Florida. Traditional, the 3-3 meta anyway.
Just going to keep popping out of the corner here just to delay the payload as much as they can. The front line's getting pretty chunked, though, for Florida.
There's a lot of damage being done by Dallas right now, and that's more. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Again, Note catches Hagopan with the self-destruct.
I mean, he was waiting for that Graviton Surge, right? He sees that it comes in, and he knows they're going to try and walk up to finish off people on the payload, but instead nobody's able to make it. Hagopan was probably moving forward to join the rest of his team, thinking he was going to get that trance pretty soon. Wow. And now that's just going to get a pick onto BQB. That is a great solo grab right there.
Oh yeah, getting rid of the enemy Zarya is going to be worth nearly every time. You pay that Graviton Surge to do just that. That's point B taken. Definitely worth.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. This is just perfectly free movement of the payload, except for a slight hitch there around the corner on B. Otherwise, Dallas Fuel has been just ripping through Rialto.
Zephyr doesn't get anything with his self-destruct. Shield came up in time. Kind of tossed it in there. Oh, they're going to try to go for the Shatter, and they do knock down Closer, but Dallas just going to get aggressive right after that, protecting their team. Zachary gets a kill on the Saya player. OG gets a healing at the very end. Zachary with that rally, giving his team the armor from that Brigida to keep them in the fight. Goodbye, BQB.
Oh, the staggers are just brutal right now.
They're not going to be able to stop this payload coming in here.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're going to try and come out of these spawn doors, but there's an Earth Shatter waiting there. That's
I've
OG
seen
with an
before.
Earth Shatter right around the corner.
I mean, they're going to see him, his mace, though, poking out around the corner, though. He can't hide there. OG in a lot of trouble. Gets the sound barrier, though, just in the nick of time here. Now there's a grab. OG waiting for a chance to drop that shatter. After it ends, might not even need it. Note with the self-destruct just to kind of push the Florida Mayhem players away from the payload here. Grav accomplishes nothing on the Mayhem side of things. Saya player down. Zephyr demeched. Dallas Fuel all over the Mayhem. You may have thought this was your map. The stats were with Florida, but Dallas Fuel looking stellar here on the attack so far.
I mean, they need to punch it in these last few meters. There you
Got
go.
it.
They have it.
I believe I saw 341 on the time bank. That is fast.
Yeah, that is really quick. I mean, Dallas did not lose a fight that entire map. It was 22-1 eliminations.
Wow.
And the only elimination for the Florida Mayhem came at the very end of the map.
I'm just like blown away by how many times Note has killed Hagapun with self-destruct too. I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 times at least. And it gets in your head, right? Your self-destruct is not something you're supposed to die to, right? As a Zenyatta. You should be predicting this. You should always have a doorway to hide behind. So when you die to that, especially at this level over and over again, that is really going to mess you up. I'm sure Hagapun is probably not the happiest player on that stage right now.
No, I mean, I think he's having a good game overall too, but when you think about how Note is using the self-destruct, sometimes it's to engage, sometimes it's to counter-engage. Like, you're not getting a lot of consistent data here. So Note's playing a very smart game on this D.Va. And Note, he's not a very versatile player. Like, it has to be talked about that he doesn't have the greatest hero pool that we've seen. We have seen him flex from time to time. It hasn't been amazing.
D.Va. Yeah.
But he is a wonderful role player on the D.Va, and he is a very skilled D.Va player. And when you can have flexibility in other places on your roster, coming out of players like AKM and Zachary, you can really lean on them and then let Note do just what Note does, which is make game-changing D.Va plays.
Yeah. And we don't mean role player like he pretends to be D.Va sometimes. We mean he's just great in the role as a D.Va.
He does that at home on his own.
Okay. I would love to see that sometime, but I thought that was just Beezy, but my bad. Dallas Fuel on the defense now. Florida Mayhem trying to push forward here. And we will see if Dallas can stop the Mayhem the way they did on Kings Row. One successful defense for Dallas already in the series. An Unko with a big pick early on onto Hagapun. And yeah, I mean, without your Zen right now, in this 3-3 meta, you really can't push very far forward.
No. And considering that Dallas Fuel have now already won one more defensive fight than the Florida Mayhem did. Speaking of, that was the 3rd fastest Rialto time ever.
Wow.
So getting up there, obviously, did have that very impressive Rialto from the Titans in Game 7 of our Stage 1 finals.
If you want to make it to the playoffs, you got to make plays like that. You have to have rounds like that. Dallas looking like a playoff team right now. Swan in a lot of trouble. Getting bounced around, getting juggled. Does not stay alive. Can't do it in the end. And once again, Florida Mayhem pushed back. Nice exit kill onto both Hagapun and BQB. Note stays in the mech on the Dallas side. Everything looking really good for the Fuel right now.
I mean, Florida Mayhem still haven't gotten an elimination out of 2 fights on this attack. It's 27-1
Wow.
at the moment. So it is a rough Rialto here on the side of Florida.
It's definitely no vacation right now, that's for sure.
And for a team that has only dropped this map 1 time in 2019, Florida Mayhem not playing like it today.
Well, Dallas Field just looking really, really good here on the defense as well. Zachary comes in from behind. Thought about maybe going for a pick here. I think he might have gotten booped by Chris on that Lucio as well as he tried to jump in. Dallas Field really playing with confidence right now, too.
Yeah, and they've been using their ult economy well, right? Florida Mayhem hasn't really had a lot of opportunities to build up.
Yeah.
Try and collapse onto OG, but they can't get him.
Chris caught, went for the big play, got played himself. Saya player down as well. There goes Swan, and Dallas Fuel again not giving an inch to the Florida Mayhem.
Hey, OG playing a bit more passively right now. BQB is going to get staggered. But he was in real danger right there. You could see Zephyr swooping in from behind to try and get the finishing blow onto OG as he dropped low on his health bar. But he's keeping his shield up this time. They realized that they're really trying to focus that tank line of the Fuel, and now they're playing a bit more defensively and not giving the Mayhem those opportunities.
Yeah. A lot of ultimates for Florida right now. If they're going to win a fight, this is going to be the time to do it. Dallas Fuel does have the tools to survive it, though, with the Transcendence and the Sound Barrier available. BQB, you can tell, he really wants to find a good grab there. Going to use on Setch, but up goes, gets him anyway, kills the Zarya, pops the Transcendence, keeps his team alive. It's a total package Zenyatta play right there, that's for sure.
Yeah, threw a bit of a victory graviton right there with 60 seconds left. AKM chucks that one out, but Ugko absolutely made that play.
Yeah. Surfs up. Well, Zachary close to the rally too, and you might want that grab back, but Florida Mayhem is so light on the ultimates right now.
I mean,
Dallas in a great spot.
This is disastrous, right? You have 30 seconds remaining, and you have one support ult, maybe two more, but how do you win this fight? How do you output the damage with Dallas Fuel there with a rally and a sound barrier of their own?
You can't really even grind it out because of the uneven ult economy. Maybe if you land a big shatter, but Chris does get the knockoff onto Zachary.
There you go.
Down as well, all right. You wondered how, Monty? Well, apparently that's how it is. I mean, Lucio makes a big pick, you separate the tank, and you kind of pull the team apart, I guess.
I'm actually surprised that Closer didn't use the sound barrier there because they had some players down, which triggered the Transcendence to be used. Dallas Fuel getting a little bit, I think, too cute when it comes to their ult economy.
A little bit too confident, maybe. Note there, though, to stop the payload. They've got another chance. We're in overtime. If Dallas can win this fight right now, they'll win the series. Soundbear comes in. Note gets Chris. He always finds somebody, and they have the later Soundbear that can have those shields. Swan in big trouble as he tries to back away, and he can't get out of the danger in time. Now it's just Saya player with the shield on the payload right now, and Dallas barely getting back to stop the payload from taking a Note. The one to stop it in time for his team, and that's Dallas Fuel punching their ticket to the Stage 2 playoffs.
And here's something for you, Doa. Note did not die on King's Row, and he did not die on Rialto. So 0 deaths for Note in the entire second half of this match. Very well played by the new Diva for the Fuel.
That was probably one of the best Diva performances we've seen yet this year from Note, just in terms of the picks he was getting, the utility provided, even to the very end of that series where he was the one getting on the payload, stalling it out, but not getting demeched, just getting it ready for his team to come in and win that fight. That's an incredible Diva play.
Yeah, that was a monster Diva game from Note, absolutely. Yeah. And the rest of the Fuel pulling together, getting the critical win that they needed to lock their spot into the Stage 2 playoffs.
That was sick. This is the best Dallas Fuel team we've ever seen. It's going to be exciting to see what they can do in the playoffs. It's going to be exciting to hear what Note has to say. He's standing by with Mika for post-match interview.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations to Note. Note deaths on the second half of Rialto. That's incredibly impressive. I've never done something that great in my life. But do you think that the synergy and the energy from winning in your hometown last weekend and in front of all those fans has helped you as a team kind of be better and play harder?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it really just carried over to us. We just, even though we weren't playing in front of our home crowd, we still felt that same energy that we felt when we were playing there. And even though they had this really interesting strategy that we weren't prepared for at all, I think we still just kind of came back from that and we just thought about what would we do if we're at our home crowd, and it's definitely not lose.
That's a wonderful mindset to have and to continue on. And you will be continuing on to the Stage 2 finals. Congratulations, that's really fun. Do you have anyone that you're really looking forward to going up against?
Honestly, there's a lot of really good GOATS teams at the top, and I'm kind of scared to go against any of them, but I'm also really looking forward to maybe playing against Shaw, perhaps, because I miss Krusty.
Aw, that was cute and menacing all at once. Well, thank you, Note, for talking to us. That's all we have down here. Back to you, Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Mika. And again, wow, what a performance by Note. And it should come as no surprise to you that he is our Omen by HP player of the match. Did not die in the entire second half of that series. Tons of picks, tons of great plays. Helps his team in a big way get to those playoffs.
Yeah, really impressive performance, as you said, Doa, and he kept himself safe while those self-destructs were being used, had consequential ultimate kills, as well as just synergizing again well with OG. That's just a really nice counter bomb right there, because the Graviton was laid down on the payload by the Florida Mayhem. As you can see, 11 deaths overall, but all 11 happening in the first two maps, so pretty crazy.
That was an amazing performance. That was a ton of fun to watch, and Dallas Fuel make it to the Stage 2 playoffs. It's only their second stage playoffs ever in the history of Overwatch League. Let's take a look at the standings. As you can see, Dallas Fuel clinching it. That means that there are only 2 more playoff spots to be decided. That's going to get a bit tricky. A lot of teams are gunning for it right now.
It's going to be a bloody battle between the Hunters, Dragons, Dynasty, Spark, and possibly Fusion if they can pull off the upset against the Shock in our next match.
You never know, man. It's going to be a good one. Fusion with kind of the destiny in their own hands. Shock looking for the undefeated stage completely. That's going to be awesome. Thanks for watching to our Disney XD audience. The rest of you, stick around. Philadelphia Fusion versus San Francisco Shock coming up next on the Overwatch League. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Ladies and gentlemen, to the Overwatch League 2019 season. We are in the final week. Already had one match out of the way. Dallas Fuel punching their ticket for the second time ever. But now we have another team who's vying to get back into the stage playoffs. Saw them in stage one, but it's been pretty middling success at the moment for the Philadelphia Fusion, and they have a very tough opponent in the San Francisco Shock.
Yeah, they are just on the edge of potential playoffs here, and every single map matters. And you take a look at the standings, you can see also that the Shock are vying for a perfect stage. They are 5-0, looking for that 6-0. 2 series left. They could potentially get plus 28 for stage 2 standings. The first team ever in the history of Overwatch League to hit a stage where they drop 0 maps.
They really are on that track, unless Fusion can upset them here today. I mean, starting off, winning a control map for Fusion and shutting down that streak might be a major momentum shift for the Fusion to be able to take hold of the series, because they need to get as many maps as possible. They need to get those wins on the board if they want to advance and take one of those final 2 spots in the playoffs.
Certainly true. And for the Shock, you know, this is going to be their toughest opponent this stage. So we'll see if they can stick the landing here against the Fusion. All it takes is 1 map, and they just can't get that perfect record. Everyone knows they're the favorites here. Everyone knows they're the favorites to go 7-0 in this stage with the strength of schedule that they have. But I think the only way you can really make a statement is to get that plus 28.
I mean, for sure. But it hasn't always been this way for the Shock. You know, you think back to Season 1. I mean, Stage 1 of this year was the first time that we actually saw them in the stage playoffs. So comparing this year, 2019, to the inaugural season, it's been a major turnaround for the San Francisco Shock.
Yeah, let's take a look at how that transformation has been for this squad.
Being able to break these Orisa holds has been the bane of their life. They just look lost.
San Francisco struggling here.
You got to never underestimate the power of San Francisco Shock to lose a game, I think.
It was kind of rough. Me and Sinatra, we didn't really scrim that much when we weren't playing, because it was like players that we haven't really had that much experience with in a league that we haven't had experience with.
He just turned 18. He's finally old enough to play in the Overwatch League.
I try to think about last year.
Yeah, we were all still developing.
Yeah, I don't know. Last year was just a mess.
That was a disastrous opening for San Francisco.
San Francisco Shock, a very dominant start to their season here.
Coming into this season, we know what to expect, so I think it just helps us relieve some of that, like, stress, I guess.
It's gonna be a triple kill! He puts them in the grave. Oh, that's a hole in 1!
I feel like our teamwork is a lot better and we trust each other more. We worked really hard in the off-season before this to get to this point.
They were building for the future last year. The future came pretty quick.
San Francisco Shock absolutely living up to the hype.
Oh, it's huge! That's what the Shock needed again!
Probably the biggest thing for us is we all like each other, and that's just like a big thing, because you don't want to play with someone you don't like. I mean, except for him, but we'll get through that.
Already dominating with this record, but looking to take it even further are the San Francisco Shock. You can see at the moment surpassing the Outlaws, the record that they had set during the inaugural season by 2 maps, looking to go the distance and get the full 28.
Yep. If you take a look at their last 2 opponents today in Fusion, which is their toughest one of the remaining 2, and then the Dragons, who are not, that far off. So it's not going to be, if they would do it today, that it's just set. But I think this is definitely we have to think of the toughest of the 2, and all it takes is 1 map to break the streak. We know they're going to playoffs. We know they're going to be highly seeded. We know they're one of the favorites again to get at least top 4. But can they make that statement, the plus 28? It's never been done before.
Well, we're going to find out here in just a moment as we bring out our first team. It's the David in this Goliath story. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give them your energy. It's the Philadelphia Fusion.
Fusion have had a very tough stage, and not in terms of their individual performances, in terms of their opponents. And they have risen to the challenge on several occasions, but it hasn't been enough to live up to their reputation, to live up to the team you expect to get back-to-back playoffs. They narrowly got in last stage. They're looking for 2 for 2 here. They're looking to get further than they did last time. But a big roadblock stands in their way, and not only do they need this win, but they need it with the best map score possible. As you say, as a David versus Goliath story, very much the underdogs here.
And it is on the cusp of trying to get into that playoffs, need that victory. David's going up against the Goliath. Let's go ahead and introduce the ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the San Francisco Shock.
The San Francisco Shock have thrown away the past, thrown away 2018. It's a new year, and it's a new start for this team, making it all the way to the grand finals of Stage 1. As we head to Stage 2, looking for an undefeated record. The plus 28 dream, it is obtainable. And now they face The Fusion, one of the symbols of Western Overwatch in the Overwatch League. And San Francisco Shock has kind of taken that from them. And sure, both of these teams are mixed rosters with Westerners and Koreans. When you think about the Titans, the full Korean rosters that normally dominate the Overwatch League, right now, if you're looking to cheer against them, you're rooting for Shock. They are with a new symbol of the Western hope in this league. And if they win this series again, it kind of solidifies. They've taken that from the Fusion, the finalists from last season.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big Western players for this roster is, of course, Super up in the front on the main tank position. He's going to be going up against Sato, one of the Koreans who has not had the best season so far. It's been very rough for him and the Fusion.
That's certainly true. When you take a look at these stats, you know, you can see Super is leading in almost every single metric here as Reinhardt. He faces off against Sato, someone who's been struggling, has been often, you know, mispositioned or repositioned by great Lucio players. Moth, for example, might be one of those Lucios. Sato is going to be bullied in this series. He is going to be one of the primary targets in the Rein versus Rein. He's going to have to try to live up to Super here, and it will not be easy.
Well, taking a look at our map set presented by Toyota. See where we're headed. It's going to be Oasis to start things off, followed up by Hanamura, then Kings Row, and maybe we round things out with Junkertown unless Philly Fusion really can rise to the occasion and extend this. We'll go ahead and start here on Garden.
Here we go. This is very much I feel the map where the Fusion have their best shot at defeating the Shock. All it takes is that first grab of the control point, get that ult advantage, and control can sometimes fall away from you if that happens. As we saw even just previously how close the Florida Mayhem versus Dallas series was on control. Sometimes, you know, Titans do fall here. Look back at, you know, Overwatch history, even teams like Lunatic High would often drop control. So winning this first fight is huge. Sato's going back to the Winston here, not the Rein. Playing to his strengths and playing to that verticality.
Yeah, exactly. Once a safe way to exit the fight, just get up onto the high ground, where a few people on the side of the Shock can match. Really only going to be Troy Kyobin and Moth that can try to displace them.
You can see the Shock can't control this high ground because they can't send their Rein up there, so they're going to have to try to force them to drop down. They do that. Carpe still holds high ground though.
Yeah, wants to be able to lob those right clicks in over top of Super Shield. Gets tagged up a bit. Will be stabilized. Bubble going to be going forward on Sato as he plays up, trying to get that Primal Rage ready to roll, but EQO is going to be the first one to get taken down. Now Sato following suit will be eliminated. They get close to taking down Rascal, but that's about as good as it gets for the first volley here for the Fusion.
So Carpe, he outcharges Sinatra in terms of damage, ult charge, rather, but he was poked down by Violet. Look at Violet's ult charge compared to Boombox's. He's leading damage out of all 12 heroes in the game right now. He had the beat on Carpe there. He was trying to force him to reposition. Carpe stood his ground, but paid for it with his life. And the Shock now have the ability to engage with Transcendence against an approaching Fusion.
Yep, and now that the Shock have control, Sato feels the pressure, knows that he has to swap over onto the Reinhardt. Try to go toe-to-toe with Super. That's just going to be putting him further behind as far as charge is concerned. Unless he can really start nailing some of these fire strikes. But for now, slow going as the Fusion look for the reapproach.
Yep. Okay, here comes Poco for the flank, looking for the grab there onto Super.
10% away for the first shatter here. Grab getting ready to come online for Sinatra. San Francisco Shock sitting pretty at the moment as they maintain control. 50% getting ready to come through on the board.
Very risky here for the Fusion to engage without grab. They have to wait a few more moments here for Carpe to get that final 4%.
Sato going to be pushing forward. Gets his Zarya bubble out to try to stay alive. He'll be able to do so far. But look at the ults right now for the side of the San Francisco Shock. All 6 going to be online. Rally already rolling. Grab comes through from Carpe. Catches them with Trayoman. He zones them back with a bomb. Rascal's still going to be taken down, but now the grab comes in response from the side of the Shock. Catching most of the members on the side of the Philly Fusion. No one going to be taken down yet, so still a fighting chance for Philly to get control of this point, and that's going to be a major pickup there for Neptuno as Violet gets taken off the map, and Moth will go down as well, so now no supports. Shock still in control, just trying to hold on to the point as long as they can to try to force out that OT.
Great play by Poco to engage here, and if you go back and look at that beginning of that fight, Sinatra was trying to track him, did very little damage, and had to reload. That's the moment that the fight was won for Fusion, because Sinatra couldn't actually do damage in that fight because he used all of his ammo trying to hit Poco. While he was reloading, he swapped over target to try to chase down Poco, to try to isolate him. Grab came out late, and it just was pretty de-synergized for the Shock. It's unfortunate to lose an ultimate like that one, the Graviton Surge, but they could certainly build it up because they're 70% ahead.
Super pushing forward. Sound Barrier's going to be coming through. Gets the Solar Shatter over on the Neptuno and will be able to get taken down. Rascal going to be on the exchange. However, Boombox coming up the kill on the back of Sato's Shatter, but now Sato going to be taken out as well. Exchange on the Reinhardt so far, but it's going to be Fusion who are actually grinding back and maintaining control as they win out the fight and get the most kills.
So right now, the Fusion take this basically without committing too much, and they know that if they can hold the ult advantage, that's their best shot of making, flipping this round into their favor because they had such a deficit. The critical part of how to hold this is to hold the high ground as we saw before, make sure Carpe doesn't get challenged by Violet. In fact, he already feels like he should probably just step down given the line of sight there for the Zenyatta for the Shock. Grav here needs to be used preemptively for the Fusion.
100 energy for Carpe. Makes him a major danger to the side of the Shock as they try to get back in to regain control. Fusion now at 70%. Ready to take the lead. Grav going to be coming out from the side of the Shock first. Sinatra starts things. It's going to be the Transcendence going to use from Boombox to try to keep him alive. So the truck comes in. Sato gets a bit on the Rascal. So things continue to look good for the Fusion. Rally now going through from EQO as they maintain control. The Shock have to retreat, but they don't have much time left. It's 85% for the Fusion.
Yeah, the Shock actually have to commit in. There's no time for a reset.
And now Moth going to be taken down still. 100 energy here for Carpe as he pushes forward, looking for more names to take. And Sinatra, he's the next one on the list.
That's
so
it.
he opened back over onto the point. We'll be able to force out this overtime. The bomb's not going to be able to find anybody. He pistols down EQO. But that's about as good as it gets. Shock need to pull out a miraculous turnaround now. With Violet getting closer to that Transcendence, can they make it happen?
That's what they need. If they can hit that, Sinatra will get a Grav.
Shatter going to be good. Find Sato right up into the front, but everybody playing on top of him to keep him safe. He manages to stand back up. The shield gets raised.
Sinatra needs to get in there and do that damage. He needs that Grav.
Shatter comes out, not going to be able to find anything. Neptuno going low. Makes his way into the back to fight with the rest of the team. Taking up onto the point right now are the Shock. Fusion re-aggress. The Transcendence to lead from Boombox. They make their way over onto the point, but now they're not going to have it as the Grab comes out from Sinatra. Could this be the turning point? Everybody from Fusion getting locked up. Super going to be taken down, however, the Peach is not in time to save his life. Sato with the pin, not going to be able to find anything. Goes a little bit too deep, gets taken down. Bomb up over the top, not going to be able to find anything. But it's Fusion zoning them off the point, and they will take the first round of Oasis.
Very close to breaking the streak on the first map. And that was really unfortunate timing for the Shock when it was 80 to 90% around that time frame when they got that single kill. The Shock had to re-engage because if you fail to re-engage there, then there's a chance that you just get gate kept out of the point while you're waiting for a reset. But if you fight, you're fighting a losing battle 5v6. So they made that choice. They came back in reliant on Violet's trance and Sinatra getting that Grav off, but the Grav wasn't good enough. The setup wasn't good enough for the Shock to capitalize on the Graviton Surge and get that damage. As we move into this second round, they could easily bounce back. And once again, Sato on the Winston here. He's only going to get to keep this if they win the first point. Otherwise, he will have to swap to Ryan. That cost him a lot of ult percentage on the previous round, but they were still able to take the map, or the round itself.
Well, City Center, the staging grounds here for the Philadelphia Fusion to try to shut down this streak. Violet going dangerously low. Pew going to be chasing up onto the high ground. Sato decides to stay behind. It's going to be zapping away here, down below. Building up steadily for that Primal Rage, but now Boombox going to be taken out. Carpe as well, going to be eliminated, and that is going to be the control going over to the Shock again here at the start of the round.
Yeah, you're reliant on AoE damage as the Winston in this case, and you're also reliant on, the leap damage. You can see Sato hit 75%. He almost got a Primal, and oftentimes that's what is the, winning move in these fights that actually gains you the first flip. He's not going to swap over to Ryan, which I find puzzling given he swapped last time after the first push. He's close to a Primal, but I don't think that's going to flip this point. That in itself is not enough. They need the Grav, they need those support ultimates, and this Winston is not going to give them enough peel to do it.
Yeah, Neptuno already on the approach, getting tagged up.
A lot of time is lost here. No support ults aren't going up for the Fusion if they're not fighting. This is great for the Shock. They're so comfortable they can just sit back and wait.
Violet under some pressure, going to be all right for now. The sun comes in. Sato going to be popping that Primal Rage. Trying to cause some disruption. He will do just that. Sinatra going to be taken down just moments before he gets the Grab online. Moth up top. Goes low. Will be able to stay alive for a little bit longer at least. Super drops the Shatter. They managed to find EQO. Might need a little bit more than that if they want to maintain control up this point. Sato works his way to the inside, trying to stay alive. Sliver of HP remaining, and Troy Hobart is there to scoop up the rest of it. Finds the kill, and it seems like Shock will be able to hold this.
You can cause disruption, you can knock the members of the Shock around, you can get a kill on Sinatra, but you don't have those impactful follow-up ults. The Shock set up the Shatter with Super. Look at the difference in impact of those two ults. You bop them around, sure, Sato, but Super hits a shatter that wins them the team fight, confirms multiple kills in a 5v6. Now they hold the critical ults they need to continue to hold this at the choke advantage.
Carpe still high energy here. Now on the reapproach.
That's one huge advantage they've got. He's got it over Sinatra.
Does he want to throw it solo on his Sinatra? That's exactly what he wants to do. Violet going to be taken down off screen by Boombox. Another fantastic pick with Sinatra, manages to survive here a little bit longer, but he can't use the grab. Poco is there to scoop the kill. Joey hoping going to be taken down. And with the team in shambles, Fusion will be able to flip this as San Francisco Shock hit 95%.
Now, as amazing as it appears and as exciting as it is sometimes to see